Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. Any engagement would be appreciated 3,000%. I hope you're having a great week. I'm actually going to talk about some boxing. I'm excited about this week. Very excited. I'll get into that in just a minute. Why? I want to start out with this. There was some news on Adrien Broner this morning, and it's directly from him. He appeared on so it's a brother out of Cincinnati who promotes fights in Southwest Ohio, Northern Kentucky. His name is Randall Wyatt. Wyatt Promotions. Last year, he started a series called New Era Champs, and he had some cards scheduled. I think he had 2 or 3 dates out into the future scheduled, and his last card was in October, and actually a fighter named Michael Williams Jr., I believe is his name, 150%. He had Roy Jones Jr. in his corner, and I don't know if he was the main event, but Glenn Dezern Jr. Had fought on a couple of his cards. Some of the write-ups are out there, whether I put them up at bitedownboxing.com or over at roundbyroundboxing.com. I discussed it. But in the interim, while we're waiting for boxing to resume and for club shows to be held again according to their states, to these guys, to their state medical boards or associations, communities, Wyatt has chosen to launch a daily morning talk show called Wyatt Live. Friday he had Duke Reagan, former Team USA boxing. He's 123 pounder or something. He got them weird weights. But he had him on Friday. He made his announcement of turning pro and when he would be making his debut and the fact that he signed with Jay Prince. I have an article out there on Bite Down Boxing, www.bitedownboxing.com. Put that up Friday. And, Duke Reagan was on there for, an hour or something. Today, Adrien Broner. And the news is that he himself said he plans to, because I know we've been in the retirement talk. You can go find a whole live stream on Randall Wyatt's page. I think that's where you can find it if you want to listen to him himself. But the news was he plans to fight at 140 pounds for his next fight. One of the names, he has 5 names that he's looking at. One of those is Ivan Redcash. And I believe the timing that he said when he could be expected to be back is December. I don't think it was September. I think it was December. I didn't write that part down. I was going to do a little article about it. The only real quote that he had was, "My fans just want to see me win." And I got into it on there with the lady. I don't want to get into my personal thing too much, but I just struggle with boxing, man, and where we are, where it is as a sport. And that's the thing. It's obvious that these guys have a long-standing relationship. It's not a real, Wyatt is not media, boxing media. It's 2 dudes chopping it up, and it's a guy who started an online talk show that's doing fairly well to only be up and running, 4 or 5 weeks. And he brought on, a long time acquaintance. Friends. They've worked together on either some local cards or one of AB's fighters being on the card. So they have a business relationship. So it wasn't really much to get in there and ask him a lot of tough questions and blah, blah, blah. It was mainly come on and chop it up with me and the news, like I said, was he plans to fight at 140 pounds. And then the timing. He also reiterated something about that $10 million expectation. And I guess my problem was more with the people in the chat. And then the fact that, like I said, for him to come out and say that my fans just want to see me win. But I can't even say anything about that because he prefaced it right. His fans. And that's what was killing me because I don't understand how, as boxing fans, I don't understand how we're so willing to accept. You want $10 million, but we start out with the Ivan Redcash as a potential opponent. I don't want to see you win. I don't really want to see you win. What I want to see is, as a fan of boxing, I want you to fight a compelling matchup that's worthy of my time and that fits in within the 140 pound the 140 pound division, and the winner of it moves forward into the contender picture, or a defense, a title defense. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm rooting for. Get a good opponent. If you can get somebody to pay you $10 million for a fight that's not going to be pay-per-view in all likelihood, good luck with that. That's great. That's a great bag if you can get it. Not too many guys are getting, I don't think more than 2 or 3 guys are getting, $10 million a fight. I can't connect all the dots and figure it all up or how it works, but I don't think it's too many guys getting $10 million to go in there and bump. But I think, like I said, I'm just struggling with where we are in following the sport. And let me just leave it at that, man. I'm amazed at where we are with loving a sport that often doesn't love us back in terms of giving us meaningful fights and just doing right by us as fans. I don't see that happening a whole lot. So look, why I'm excited about this week, man. Shout out to Top Rank. I believe it's the end of their tomorrow night could be the end of their summer series. This is boxing at the bubble, the Tuesday and Thursday fights that they've been putting on. I know it's been up and down, and this card is affected to a lesser degree than what we saw last week when Michaela Mayer's fight was elevated to the main event when the Yap guy was 9 pounds over. Tomorrow night, the Guido Villanelli and Kingsley Ebe fight is no longer a part of the card. And I did this video earlier and deleted it. I went too long. But I was really looking forward to that one because eBay's been on here. This would have been his 3rd fight in this series, or over the last 5 or 6 weeks. And it would have been interesting to see what Guido, how he could have looked against a guy who's been working. And it's heavyweight. And I want to, is Villanelli a guy who's going to be in the picture, in the top 15 at some point? So we don't get to see that. But headlining the card is Oscar Valdez making his debut at super featherweight against Jason Velez. Velez is the kid that tested Ryan Garcia enough for Garcia to change up his lifestyle and go join Team Canelo and go on the run that he's been on. And Velez has never been knocked out. He was in a Fight of the Year candidate fight. And then Valdez, obviously they're trying to put together the showdown with Bergil. So I think that's a very interesting main event. Velez has over 20 fights, and Valdez is a former featherweight champion. Then we also get to see super middleweight Edgar Berlanga, him and his 13 wins all inside the first round. You see Berlanger is facing Eric Moon, a kid out of Marietta, Georgia. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a quality test to see what these 13 knockouts mean. And I think Bertlager is a kid. I mean, he's NYC. You watch his Instagram account. You know, he's taking the glamour shots with the shades and the leathers and the fur trim coats and the fur trim leathers. Standing by a Panamera or something. You know, he's doing different things with Fat Joe. And it's just like, is this kid getting the? Although I've heard him talk, and I don't necessarily believe that it's a matter of a guy getting the carriage in front of the horses, but we get to see some things here with Eric Moon. I mean, he probably wins that fight. You know, Moon does have the 2 losses, so we'll see. I think Moon was stopped in one of those by Eastern Euro guy, I want to say. Also on here, Isaac Dogboe moving up to 126 pounds. Featherweight. Going up against Chris Avalos. He's a guy who has 34 total fights on his record, 27-7. So this is actually, in my opinion, this is one of these Tuesday, Thursday night cards. That's a legit Saturday night ESPN, top rank on ESPN card. It's really that quality, especially if you would have left Guido on there with eBay. And then also super lightweight Elvis Rodriguez, who was just on there a couple of weeks ago, broke the kid's orbital bone with the right jab and then the left hand shot that followed it up, and got the knockout in the first round. He's facing Dennis Okoth. So that's that. I saw where the Verdejo numbers peaked, the highest peak or whatever. Wasn't too bad at like 440,000 K. You know, the Michaela Mayer fight, I think it dipped below 300,000, which was kind of unfortunate. I don't necessarily think that was a reflection of her though. That card was one of the thinnest ones, and it was, you know, like I said, she was elevated into that main event status, and the card really just really wasn't that it wasn't that great, and I don't think that should be attributed to her. The numbers, the viewing numbers, the performance of it. And then I'm also the reason why I am more excited about this week. While there is no Thursday show, Friday we actually get Vergil Ortiz Jr. against Samuel Vargas, which brings DAZN. Everybody go and fire up your DAZN app. You know, you might have to work out some kinks to get back in that thing, or some things get reset or whatever. You know, I don't know. But over the next couple of days, go ahead and give it a test run. Look at the dashboard, so that Friday night you can get in there and watch that fight. Sinisa Estrada is on that card. And I can't give you a lot of details here because it's not, when I checked this morning, this card wasn't even on BoxRec. And I thought it was canceled or something until I saw that there's an article out there on Boxing Scene with Ortiz Jr. talking about if it's an early night, he could possibly be back for the Canelo card in September. So I don't have a lot of details on that one. I don't know what's going on. Saturday also, I don't know if there's a way to see this here. You can find it if it's not on ESPN Plus or something. But Joe Joyce, who was scheduled to fight Daniel Dubois, is now facing some cat named Wallish. They're going to get these interim bouts in before those two guys face off with one another. So that's going to be a fight that's out there maybe around 3 p.m.-ish, 4 p.m.-ish or something Saturday. So what I'm saying is, with Golden Boy being back, with DAZN being back, more people are returning to the game, while at the same time we're bracing for the reality that there might have to be some pullback in all of these sports if some of the data isn't favorable and there has to be a second shutdown. So that's unfortunate, but it could be the reality that we got to go back into those circumstances and do that thing right, based on, like I said, based on what some of these numbers could suggest. So like I said, I felt like more people were coming back to the sport. There are a couple of fights across the country, Florida. One I thought I saw was up in the Northwest. I can't remember where that was. I thought I saw Destiny Butler was on one of these cards out of Chicago, but his opponent was TBA. So it was just a good sign that boxing was on its way back, and like I said, it could be a matter of we get a few more events, but then some things go away. We're definitely not moving closer to crowds returning, which makes things really difficult for boxing and the bigger names to return. It creates quite a bit of work to get those guys back. So that's it, man. I'm just excited to see a guy like Vergil Ortiz Jr. in against Samuel Vargas. I had Dusty Hernandez on a live stream a month or so ago. Hernandez said that he was in camp with Vargas for a time, and that Vargas was looking really. Samuel Vargas was looking really great. I heard both of these guys on the Akin Barak show last week, and it was a Zoom virtual face-off or whatever. But they kept it respectful and civil, and Vergil Ortiz is a very down-to-earth guy, very straightforward guy. So no real trash talking, but I think we're going to get a very competitive fight while it is going on. But like I said, if Ortiz Jr. is talking about fighting in September and talking about an early night, he could try to expedite matters and put in a light night of work. And I'm also interested in seeing Sinisa Estrada. I love her. She's got a really interesting style about her, and it's good to see the women's game doing their thing as well. So that's it, man. Let me get on off here. Hey, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.